Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the End Zone Enthusiast. I'm Paul, and today we are going through our power rankings after week 9. Oh my God, it's hard to believe that it's already week 9. Let me adjust this microphone a little bit here. Hard to believe it's already going into week 10 already here. So the NFL season's halfway done. And you know what? Big changes yet again when it comes to top our top 10 and all that kind of stuff here. But before we get started, why are we the End Zone Enthusiasts? Well, I'm a roller coaster enthusiast who also loves the NFL here. We got our little displays here. And of course, I am wearing the Millennium Force shirt, which is over at Cedar Point, America's roller coaster, as they call it. But before we get started here with our top 10, let's get into some honorable mentions. And our first honorable mention got to be the Carolina Panthers. Who saw this coming? Seriously, who saw this coming? That they had that 3-game winning streak. Then they lost, but they lost because of Andy Dalton coming in there. And then when Bryce Young comes back here, was not a pretty good game last week, but they got the W. And they are now in second place in the NFC South here, right behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And with Atlanta falling down there, it is a 2-dog race. Now, does Carolina have enough to get over the hump there? I mean, who are they playing this week? Carolina is playing New Orleans. That could be another easy victory for these guys here. So they might just keep on moving up and moving up, moving up. And if Tampa starts, having all these injuries like they are, if they don't get their ship right there, could the Carolina Panthers make the playoffs? Who knows? But right now, I'm not 100% invested in them. They are coming in as an honorable mention. Our second honorable mention, it's got to be the Minnesota Vikings. They came out of nowhere and beat the Detroit Lions. Now, going to that game, most people thought that this was going to be a butt kicking by Detroit. So to have Minnesota with JJ playing a full game and playing that game very well, getting the ball to Justin Jefferson, getting the ball to their other wide receivers. Hockenberg actually had something, or Hawkinson, sorry. All in all, Minnesota, you're 4-4. You're at the bottom end of that division, but I put you ahead of Chicago because I just see so much more potential. You already had the talent. You need the quarterback. Well, if JJ can have another game, this week he is playing the Baltimore Ravens, who are also a club that definitely needs a win. Both those teams need a win, and if Minnesota can get that victory here, they're going to bounce right into the top 10. Now, before we get into our top 10 here, teams had to leave. And the first team that had to get dropped out has to be the Green Bay Packers. What the hell was that? Seriously, Green Bay, you keep on saying you only had one loss going into it. You in Indianapolis going into that week were the only teams with one loss. And you put up that? That was the game you decided to play? I mean, the defense was anemic. Parsons had not even a pressure. And then Love just looked like almost like a rookie. He did not play well at all here. So I can't put you in the top 10, and I'm not going to give you an honorable mention if you're going to keep playing like that. Now, Green Bay this week is not off. So where are they? Green Bay. How come I can never find the teams when I'm looking for them here? Where is Green Bay? Oh, they're playing Philadelphia on Monday night. That is a must-win game for you guys. Also with the Eagles. That's going to be a great barometer game there to see where you stack up there. If you beat the Eagles, you're going back into the top 10. If you lose to the Eagles, I might not see you on this board for a long time. Another team that dropped out, and this one makes me happy. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry, I keep doing that. But Kansas City, you went up against Buffalo, and like always, during the regular season, Buffalo had your number. They beat you. However, unlike most seasons, usually that's your first loss of the year, maybe second. This is your fourth loss. You are pretty much, if it wasn't for the Raiders, you would be the bottom feeder. You're looking up at the Chargers and you're looking up at Denver. And both these teams don't show any sign of letting you catch up. So even though you are playing better and you got your Worthy back and you got the cheater Rice, well, actually the felon Rice, I don't know if you guys are going to make the playoffs at this point here. 4 losses is not good at this point in the game there. And then also losing to Buffalo, not a good sign. You already lost to Denver. Yeah, it's an uphill battle for Kansas City. Now, don't get me wrong. The Chiefs always find a way to stay relevant in these games. But the reality is you already lost to the Eagles, lost to Buffalo. You lost to the Chargers, and you lost to, I believe, Denver, or maybe not Denver. But at this point, you got an uphill battle. Let's see if you can turn it around. And the last team to drop out there by no fault of their own is the Chargers. The Chargers did win last week. It was against the Raiders, so it wasn't a huge victory there. But all in all, they are right on the cuffs of making this. So unlike Green Bay, who's kind of falling apart, and also like Kansas City, who hopefully falls apart, Chargers won. It just wasn't enough room for you in the top 10. So that being said, let's talk top 10. And coming in at number 10, these guys just don't die. I look at their injury report, and it looks like 90% of their stars are gone. But McCaffrey, who is one of the few people who are healthy this year, is taking that team on his shoulders. And also, you got to say, Mac Jones, definitely showing that why he should have been picked over Trey Lance. Those two are basically taking that offense on their shoulders and have moved the team. They're 6-2. They're 6-2 with all those injuries. They're right in the thick of it with the Rams and Seattle. That is a cluster of a division. I kind of feel bad for Arizona, but that is a cluster of a division there. And you know what? You deserve to be in the top 10. You have fought, and you lost Bosa. You've lost so much talent. And then the injuries just keep piling up. Every game you're losing another player. So for you to keep winning, if I had a hat, I'd be tipping that hat to you. So number 10 is San Francisco. Number 9, free falling, Detroit. You were number 2. But that game you put up against Minnesota, we thought the first game of the year against Green Bay, we kind of like, okay, they got off to a slow start. And then losing that game where the refs really stepped in a lot, with Kansas City kind of gave you the benefit of the doubt. But what's going on with this Minnesota loss? Seriously, this should have been a one. I know it's a divisional game, and divisional games are more challenging. But all in all, you should have had this game locked up. So that gives me a lot of question marks here. Raw was not, was not even a factor in this game. I have no idea what that game plan with Montgomery and Gibbs. And really, I have no idea how Minnesota balled you up here, but I'm dropping down to 9 because that was not a pretty loss. Number 8, they were on bye week, but they did slide a little bit here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Now, yet again, they needed this bye week with Bucky being out, with Godwin being out, and of course losing Evans for the season. You're definitely down. They still don't have their offensive line set there, but they are 6-2, and you gotta respect 6-2. And they do now have 4-3, I guess, is the Carolina Panthers. They are nipping at your heels here. So hopefully this bye week gets you straight here, but you didn't lose spots because of a loss or because of that. It's just because other teams kind of shot up a little bit higher. But, man, you got a tough one against New England. If you can beat New England, you're going to be top 5 again. I promise you're going to be top 5 once again. Number 7, hey, we just mentioned them, the New England Patriots. Now, I know that they are the leaders right now of the AFC East. But, man, this week's game, little shaky there. You got the win, but Drake May in that second half was not there. And pretty much, I don't know if you won the game as opposed to your opponent losing that game there. So, yet again, you're punching above your weight. You guys are leading the AFC East, but Buffalo just had a huge victory over Kansas City. And if you stumble, right now you kind of got the tie break too, so you're up 2 games. But if you start stumbling, Buffalo is right there to catch you. Number 6, they were number 1 for a week, maybe 2, but now they came back to earth, the Indianapolis Colts. They got their first loss in a while. And it wasn't so much that they lost because, no team's going to have one. Most teams are going to have 3 or 4 losses, the really good teams. So that's not why you dropped. You dropped because you just did not look good doing it. And that is, solid points matter. And this loss, you were never in this game. It wasn't a close game. It was a, multi-score loss. You were pretty much behind the entire time. Pittsburgh had your number. So because of that, try to see who you're playing this week here. Indianapolis, you got Atlanta. So Atlanta, you should be able to the manhandle these guys. You don't know what Atlanta team's going to show up here. But if you have another tough loss against Atlanta, your days as being a top 5 might be done here. You're a great story, but you got to get Jonathan Taylor more involved in the game. And you just got to pull out these victories. It was an ugly loss. That's why you dropped down, but you're still in the top 10. You're at number 6, actually. But now we're getting into the top 5. And top 5, number 5 is the Buffalo Bills. Now, I know you're thinking, wait a second. New England's ahead of that division. Well, I don't go by the standings. I go by what I see. And what I see at this point is Buffalo being a better team than New England, especially last week. They basically took Kansas City and they played the game they needed to play to beat Kansas City. Their defense was definitely containing Mahomes, which is not easy. They took out the 2 wide receivers, and of course the running game, thank God, is pretty anemic when it comes to Kansas City. And they actually didn't do much they didn't do anything actually by the trade deadline. Meanwhile, Josh Allen looks good, but it's not all on Josh Allen anymore. You got that great running attack, and because of that, I really think 8 times out of 10, New England against Buffalo, it's going to be Buffalo, and that's why I put you at number 5. Number 4, team I finally got to see this past weekend on Monday was Seattle, and wow, I was impressed. Now, I know Washington was beat down, and then, of course, they had that horrible injury to Jaden Daniels, but that's the first time I actually sat down and watched a Seattle Seahawks game. I could not have looked for a better game. They dominated on every aspect of the ball. And because of that, they are number 4. That is a tough NFC West. And, them, the Rams, and San Francisco are all jumbled up there. All of them can make the playoffs here. But for me, I think Seattle is really, really good. But not the best team in that division, because I still think the Rams on any given day with Matthew Stafford is going to win against Seattle. Now that can change because this week, see what we got here. Seattle has Arizona, should be a quick victory there. Meanwhile, the Rams have San Francisco. So you got to battle there. One of those 2 teams is going to beat the other. San Francisco already beat the Rams earlier this year. San Francisco beats them again. The Rams are going to free fall, and San Francisco is going to jump up here. But if the Rams beat San Francisco, like I think they will, well, at this point there, the number 3 ranking is tops. Now, when it comes to this, I always want the top team in the AFC and the top team in the NFC to be number 1 and number 2. So with that being said, number 2 is the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos have a pretty easy game coming up against the Raiders. So I'm expecting them to win yet again. However, at this point, they're winning the close victories, just like with Kansas City last year. They won a lot of games with an overtime or 1 score, 3 points and stuff like that. That's how Buffalo in the Denver. That's how Denver's been winning in the fourth quarter. So you can ride that as far as you can. At this point, I'm looking at all these teams head to head, and I'm thinking Denver right now is playing the best, and they got that dog behind it with Kansas City and the Chargers. So they're not like in a division like the Eagles or like Tampa Bay, where they're like, okay, we kind of have this division, or Pittsburgh right now. They got to play every game like it's their last. And who they got this week? Denver has, the Raiders tomorrow. So with the Raiders tomorrow, hopefully they get that victory, which they should. If they lose to the Raiders, they're going to free fall. But if they beat the Raiders, they're going to be in great shape. And number 1, yes, I know they're my home team, but you know what? Right now, the way the Eagles are playing, they jumped up 4 spots during the bye week. That's how bad the teams did, with Green Bay losing, with Detroit losing. That definitely opened up the field more for the Eagles. And at this point, I think the Eagles are the best team in that division, actually in that conference and in the league right now. So all in all, the 3 teams that are out are Green Bay Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, yay, and the LA Chargers. The 2 honorable mentions are the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. Number 10 is the San Francisco 49ers, who have a huge game against the number 3 team, the Rams. So we're going to see which team prevails there. Number 9, Detroit, bad loss. You drop down you drop like a rock. Number 8, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see how you guys are going to be when you come out of the bye week there. Number 7, New England Patriots, the leaders of the AFC East, but I don't think they're the best team in the East. Number 6, right outside the top 5, is the Colts. Ugly loss last week. Hopefully they can bounce back. Number 5, Buffalo Bills. You know what? You showed me a lot against Kansas City. Number 4, Seattle. First time I saw you, I'm impressed. Number 3, LA Rams. Number 2, Denver Broncos. And number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, tomorrow we're going to be dropping our picks for week 10. Can you believe we're at double digits already here? So stay tuned for that. And once again, guys, if you like what we do, make sure you like and subscribe. Eagles fly. Baker's got to bake. And of course, Buffalo, just keep doing what you're doing.